and welcome to episode 12 of the Spicy Homemaker Podcast. My name's Melissa, and today is Friday, January 29th, 2016, and thank you so much for joining me today. After the last little over a week, 2 weeks that I've had since we've podcasted, I already knew that there was lots of podcasters out there, but I am starting to realize the sheer number of podcasts that are out there now. So the fact that you choose to spend some time with me makes me very happy and very thankful. So I'm glad you're here. Grab a cup of tea, get some knitting. Let's hang out a little bit and chat. Chat about some knitting, some creative living. That's exactly what this podcast is about. And hope you have fun. I want to say from the last podcast that I know I talked about new lighting. And after I watched the podcast to edit, it's like I get one new thing, and it's like with anything else, I don't think it ever comes out of the box perfect, or at least the operator is not using it perfectly. The lighting was great, but the room that I podcast in is my art studio or crafting studio, whatever you would like to call it. And there's lots of great natural light. In fact, today I am not using my artificial lighting. But I had the window open, or not the window, the curtains open last time, and it was very cloudy. But as you could probably tell, the sun peeked out a couple times and really washed out some things. I tried to correct it a little bit. You start to get into a little bit of a fuzzy area when you start correcting lighting when you're editing and you're not really a video editor. So I want to keep the colors as accurate as possible. So please forgive me. I do realize now that if I use lighting, artificial lighting, I will put all the curtains and shades up so that it can be used properly. So today, this morning, as a matter of fact, it's not even this morning, it's this afternoon for me now. I took the day off because I did not know how else I was going to podcast. And I know I didn't podcast last week. And I said that I would, at a minimum, podcast every 2 weeks. But, I'll explain why that didn't happen last weekend. But this morning, I decided to start my morning off, after I've dropped the kids off, to watch the trout and the bear face off in the Bakery Bears. That was fantastic. I've been waiting for that. It's Tilly Trout and Kay Jones. Kay Jones is one of the hosts of the Bakery Bears. Tilly Trout has her own podcast. I'm sure most of you know about both of them, if not all of you guys, right? It was great. It was great. I am a Patreon member of the Bakery Bears podcast. And you get a lot of bonus and extras. And the reason I became a Patreon member, I want to kind of talk about that for a second. I listened to Helen Stewart of the Curious Handmade podcast, and she was talking about it last year and kind of what that entails. And it's basically, you can contribute any amount of money you would like per month to go to their podcast. And I know a lot of people have some very strong opinions about them, about the Patreon, I should say. So why I do it? Well, if you've ever watched the Bakery Bears, you know they are not just a podcast. I mean, they do so much for our community. First of all, as I was just talking about the trout and the bear, that was, what do they call it? Knit or Forfeit, I believe it is. It's a game show that they put on. It's an extra on their podcast from time to time, and it's a lot of fun. But that takes a lot of time and effort, and they do a lot of educational things. They go visit historical places in England and talk about them. I mean, they do so much. Tutorials. I could go on. And then if you're a Patreon member, they do even more. This is their job. This is what they do. They chose to do this. They chose to get out of the corporate world and do this for a living. If you're going to do it for a living, there's only a few ways to make money doing this. And so, as a podcaster who just, I podcast for fun, I don't do a fraction of what they do, but I can really appreciate the time it takes to do that. And so, I'll just be very open and honest about it. I contribute $10 a month, and it gets me so many extras. And some people think, oh my goodness, $10 a month. That's crazy just for a podcast. Well, I don't just get a podcast. I get extra episodes that they record for just us. I get lots of tutorials. I mean, there's so many, and they go over what it gives you. And $10 a month to me is 2 cups of coffee at Starbucks. So we all have our little perks in life that we like to do, but mine is being a Patreon member for the Bakery Bears. So I'm not trying to make a plug for this. I think anybody who does it would enjoy it, no doubt. I'm just kind of telling you my thoughts, especially if you're one of those people who think, I'm not going to pay for a podcast. I'm just giving you another perspective, I guess. That's what I want to say. And this mug, by the way, oh my goodness. I got this as a Christmas swap from one of my friends, Dana. And I've been drinking out of this mug almost every single day, actually. I think it doesn't even go in the cupboard ever. And I just love it. And mostly because it came from my friend. And it's beautiful, and it's blue, and it's got dragonflies. And on the bottom it says, "Embrace the day." I love this mug. So, anyways, so why I was telling you about the Patreon and the Bakery Bears, mostly the Bakery Bears, is that because I pay for this, one of the things I am starting to realize is, many of you have heard through a variety of avenues. Podcasters did not come up with this. I've heard this in so many different avenues of life. You know, your word for the year. This is the first year that I've really heard about it. And it seems like I can't quit hearing about it. Everywhere I go, somebody says something about it. But I thought, you know what? Kind of like where this is going. So my word for the year is focus, because there's so many things I like to do and I have so many ideas. So my word is focus, because sometimes I'm all over the place that I'm not really getting productive in any one area. And I don't really like that. So I pay for the Bakery Bears, but I hadn't really been watching them that much because I'm trying to watch all these different podcasts. I love connecting with people and I love connecting with other podcasters, but I have to come up with a real plan on how I'm going to tackle my podcasts, because I realized I wasn't even keeping up with the podcasts with the people that I really talk to, like frequently, that I started talking to in the very beginning. And I want to keep up with those people. And I do want to meet new people. So stay tuned. Now I'm going to come up with a plan for that and figure out how to do this. But my Bakery Bears, I mean, my goodness, that's just a tragedy if you're paying for something and then you're not even watching it. That stopped right here today. I thought, Tilly Trout, Kay Jones doing a face-off. They were calling it the Trout and the Bear. Oh my goodness. Had to see that. Started my morning out. It was a perfect way to start the morning. Loved it. And we'll see where my podcast watching takes me next. But let's talk about why I didn't podcast last weekend. So I arranged a podcaster's Valentine's Day swap. I was trying to get as many podcasters out there to participate in what I'm calling a Valentine's Day swap, essentially. And so I contacted all the ones that I knew. And I just, there's so many. There are so many. And there's so many great ones that I don't even know about. But the response was so amazing. Oh my goodness. I was just so taken aback by it. But I also asked them, if there's anyone I'm missing, let me know. And I said, I'd like to keep the number at about 100. I knew there was easily 100 podcasts. And we were right under 90, I believe, in the end. So, yeah. But doing that and organizing that on Ravelry, where you can only send one message at a time, oh my goodness. So I had to send out the message asking if people wanted to do this. One message at a time per person. You can't do group emails on Ravelry. And I'm going to try to give them the benefit here, the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what I'm trying, this is coming out all wrong. I was irritated. I'm like, why didn't Ravelry make group messaging, group emails possible? And anytime I get irritated, usually what will happen eventually is I try to see the other person's perspective. Clearly, I'm not talking with the couple who runs Ravelry. So I thought about it and I thought, well, I bet if they do that, one of my thoughts is to prevent people sending out email blasts on everything. You know, I'm going to CC all my friends on this, kind of keeping the spam down. And I can really see that. I think that's actually a really good idea. I may be totally wrong and off base on this, but if that's the case, it makes sense to me. But when you're trying to organize something with about 100 people, that can take some time. So then when the people responded back, you know, I had to go back and pair them up and then send out another email telling them who their partners were. Oh, goodness, it's a lot of fun. I'm so glad I did this, and I hope to do it again next year. But I think this is a once a year event. I would love to keep it to a Valentine's Day swap. But yeah, it's a time suck. It really is. But my thought process behind this. Podcasters do a lot of swaps. And those swaps can be pretty significant, let me tell you. In fact, towards the end of this podcast, I am going to do how to make a great swap package. So stay tuned for that. That'll be towards the end, after the knitting. My thought process on this was that I wanted it to be a swap where maybe some podcasters probably wouldn't interact otherwise, or maybe they interact just a little bit. So kind of connect those people again a little bit more. And then also to make it a thoughtful swap. I didn't want it to be this big, huge thing because, let's admit, we can get out of hand with some of our gift giving. I mean, we're generous, kind people. We love doing this kind of stuff. And I didn't want this to be anything somebody had to dread or had to plan extensively. The thought was you give a Valentine's Day card. That was a must. And you just write something in the card, you know, a compliment, some sort of specific compliment about the person or something you like, or just a message that was personal. And then I said that the swap the guideline was a 10 by 13 envelope or smaller. And the reason I said a 10 by 13 envelope is because I know that some of these people that podcast are also indie dyers. Someone may want to give a whole skein of yarn, and 10 by 13 envelope is appropriate for that size. But I think most of us could go smaller easily, because I thought either maybe, you know, a good piece of chocolate, because there's a lot of chocolate in these swaps, maybe a couple bags, little packages of tea, or maybe just knit like a little softie of some sort. You know, not all those things, you know, mix and match, do whatever you want, but it's supposed to be thoughtful and small. But the emphasis is on the thoughtfulness, not the size of the package. If that makes sense? I love Valentine's Day. I do. Most people, not most people, where did I get that? I have heard some people say that they don't like Valentine's Day. It's a commercial holiday, or you should show your love every day, which, you know, yeah, that's true. But I think it's a great holiday because most people don't show their love every day, at least not in a thoughtful, focused way. Not every day. I mean, who does that? I don't do that. Maybe you do. I don't know. It's just a reminder to show people that I care about in my life, to show them even more that day. Now, I will say that I go a little bit against the grain. I love food. I love good food. Love it. Love going to good restaurants. I do not go to a restaurant on Valentine's Day because the prices are really expensive and the wait is extremely long, and no, I just don't do it. I think that's ridiculous. In the past, what I've been known to do is to make dinner, have it at home, you know, a nice dinner. And some things that I've enjoyed in the past is I love to put, if it's a romantic Valentine's Day, a $5 limit on the whole thing. And let me tell you, that makes you have to be creative and thoughtful. And I love it. Some of the best gifts I have ever received was under those circumstances. I received a little rose bouquet one year that had little Hershey Kisses as rosebuds on the end. There's been a lot, and I enjoy it. I enjoy that. I enjoy thoughtful gifts. So that was where I was going with this. It took a lot of time, but you know what it also led to is I was really busy with that, and As I said, it was a lot of time, but I enjoyed it. But then I started to realize the podcast, since podcasting, it has made me my creativity feels like it's just an overdrive. I love it. So much so that I really do have to focus and get a handle on this to direct my efforts more appropriately. But I realized I hadn't done any really creative things with my kids lately. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I love spending time with you guys. But if I'm not spending time with my family as well, then I have to question where my priorities are. So, as soon as I started thinking about that, I quickly corrected myself. One night, me and the kids sat down just this past weekend, and I got a bunch of crafting materials. This was completely on the fly. I thought, you know what, we're gonna have fun tonight. Told the kids, I'm like, let's sit down and let's make Valentines. Let's make paintings. There was really no agenda. I just got out the paints, the markers, the paper, the stickers, all the stuff, and we just sat down at the kitchen table and painted. My daughter, Ruby, my two sons, me, and I made Valentines. The boys helped make some paintings. I'm going to use them in some Valentines. And, it was great. It was really, it was so fun. It reminded me that while I love Pinterest, and I do get some ideas from there for sure, it's so important to have that creative time where you really don't have an agenda. You just create for the sake of creating and making and painting things and just letting whatever flows out of your mind onto paper. It just reminded me of how kids play, they just play. There's not like a plan, and they can come up with some of the most fascinating and outstanding things just from their imagination. And I'm really glad we did that. I needed that. And yeah, we had a lot of fun doing that, and just wanted to share that with you guys. Have you been doing anything like that lately? Have you, what have you been doing fun with your kids, or, with your partners, or by yourself? Have you been doing any free creative activities? Any just free form? I'm sitting down and just going to go with it. I'd like to hear about it if you've been doing anything. Share it with me. You could give us some ideas. But okay, let's talk about some fun stuff, okay? That was fun, I think so, but we need to talk about some knit-alongs and some prizes. All right, so I am running the Comfort Knit-Along. This is going from now till the end of March, and it's basically you knit whatever brings you comfort. For me, it's garter stitch, stockinette, vanilla socks, that kind of thing. Knit whatever you want. Put it in the thread. It's chattering. There's no finished objects thread. You can have a whip. I don't care. We're just having fun. We're sharing our knitting. That's basically what this is. So for January, I drew for 3 prizes. Well, no. I drew for 2 prizes. There's one more, but I'll tell you how that's going to work. And just to warn you guys, with my prizes, they're going to be getting a little creative here really fast and quick. And I'll just say, you'll never know what I'm going to do. Okay, because I love giving gifts, but I also like doing it in a fun way. So the first winner that I drew was Talon Washcloth, who is Jessamine. She is the one who told me about Bohemia Fibers, which is our indie dyer of the month. Now, Jessamine, you get to choose first pick, and I have 3 prizes to choose from. I have these, which are I'll try to get a close-up of these two with I think I'll take a picture and try to insert it. But they're the Sucre stitch markers. They're little miniatures, and they're a pink speckled donut and a chocolate speckled donut. Kind of give you an idea of their size. There's my thumbnail right there next to the donut. It's not much bigger. It's about the size of the tip of my thumb there. These are great. I'm giving away both of these at the same time. If you ever seen Emily from Fibertown's Instagram feed, and she is Fibertown on Instagram, Fiber is spelled for her Fibre and then town. She's posted her little stitch markers on some of her projects. Every single time she posts them, the Instagram feed blows up. What are those? Those are so great. I bought them. I get it. I want some more. I got these, and Not gonna lie, this is one that was hard to give up, and I'm going to go back and order some for myself because I have to have some. But I'm giving them to you guys first. So you have that option, Jessamine. And there's also the Yarn at Home Mom donated her basic sock yarn. It's called Zombie Hairband, and this is 463 yards, 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. Sock fingering weight, 100 grams. And just look at that. Oh my gosh. This is gorgeous. I did a swap with Shannon from the Yarn at Home Mom. I discovered her yarn through a mini skein swap that I did. And yeah, so we got together and we did a mini swap, and oh my gosh, you'll see that later. But she generously donated her own skein of yarn. Now she did say I could keep it. And I want to. I do. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to. I'm offering this to you guys. And there's also this to choose from. This is from Bohemia Fibers, and it's Wine and Roses is what it's called. And it's on her sock base as well. And her tag. Oh man. My daughter has this really awesome thing she does where she takes the tags off my yarn. So tell me which one you would like. I know it's her sock weight yarn. I'm almost certain that it's 80% nylon, 20%, or 80% nylon, 80% merino, 90, or, oh my, scratch that, stop. Let's start this over. 80% merino, 20% nylon. If that is incorrect, you will see it at the bottom of this screen. So there's that. So you get to pick from that, Jessamine. And then after that, Mel, who is one of my moderators, I also chose her. Hi, Mel. She is Woman in a Shoe, and she'll get second pick. So the third prize I have is Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast has graciously donated her Highland Peaks shawl collection. So how that's going to work is, well, let me show you this before I go. Is that, okay, so I wore it last podcast, and you can find that on my Instagram feed. I have it in the Comfort Knit Along thread in the Spicy Homemaker podcast group, which is on Ravelry, by the way. And I've got it in a lot of places. It's on my projects page, but here's what it looks like. All right, so it's a 3-color shawl. You can do it in 2 colors, you can do it in 1 color, you can do it however you want, really. But I did the worsted weight. And if you've never done a worsted weight shawl, once again, I highly recommend it. I did a worsted weight on purpose because I've never done one. And I did this in Canopy worsted weight. Canopy is by the Fiber Company. And oh my gosh, it's so soft, it's so squishy. I wear this all the time. I usually, it's not like what I would call, I can't remember, I want to say it was Jeanette from the Bookish Stitcher said she called it her reading shawl. Not this one, but another one. And I love the idea because I love wearing it like this because it's so warm and cozy around the house, but it's not just like something I wear around the house. I wear this out all the time. Wrap it around, and it's a good size shawl. It really is. But she also has a fingering weight version. So the way I'm going to give this away, and I'm sorry, I keep doing this. I'm growing out my bangs or my fringe for my folks who are in the UK, or not the UK, Europe in general. I think most people call it fringe over there, maybe even my Canadian friends. And it's driving me crazy. So, so I'm going to give away that pattern to the first person who contacts me on Ravelry message. Why am I doing that? Because I think for patterns, not everybody knits the same things. So I don't know how that would work. Maybe you would win this, but this isn't something you want to knit right now. Maybe you're into something totally different. I want someone who wants to knit this to get this. That rhyme, that sounded a little bit like Dr. Seuss right there, I think. But anyways, you have to be a part of the Comfort Knit Along. You have to be a part of that thread. I don't care how you're part of that thread, I'm going to check. You have to be a part of it. to win it. And just message me. Say, put Highland Peaks. If you're trying to be fast, put HP in the subject line and say, I want it. Whoever's the first person, I will gift you that pattern because I want you to knit it. You know, don't be a pattern hoarder. I'm a yarn hoarder, hoard yarn, but let's not hoard our patterns. Like, you know, people want these, pattern makers want them to be knit and to be enjoyed. So, you know, if you wanted to knit this and you've been curious about Amina Phillip, I believe it is, pattern, this would be a great opportunity for you. And her pattern, this was very easy. And I'm so glad she talked about it on her last podcast as well, because she said she meant it to be something a beginner could do. And it is, it really is. If you're a beginner and you're wanting to try some new things, this is awesome. But I think it's great for, like I said, I put it into the comfort knit for an intermediate and advanced knitter as well, because there's color changes that keep it interesting. There's some increases, but they don't happen all over. And the lace section is very, very easy. I don't think I'm going to be able to look on my projects page. You'll see it. It's when it's blocking and how it's very intuitive. It's very easy. I really enjoy it. I love the pattern. I'm doing one of her sock patterns. She's an awesome pattern designer. I really like her designs quite a bit. So first person to message me on Ravelry that is a part of the Comfort Knit Cow will get this. Okay, so next month, because this is going for 3 months, you will have the option, not the option, I should say, there's going to be more yarn I'm going to give away. I don't know, there's going to be more prizes. There may be even, I don't know, there'll be at least 2 prizes, if not more. If there's anybody who wants to donate prizes, contact me. If not, it's okay too. I seem to keep finding stuff to give away. But bags by Awesome Granny. And this is her large knitting bag. So to give you an idea, so this is at least the width of my shoulders, kind of, maybe a little less. And she has dimensions on her website. I don't want to, but I keep a lot of my Cozy Memories blanket stuff in here. This is what I'm using it for, and I use another bag for the mini skeins. But I also bought her Notions bag that goes with it because I just thought this print's so adorable. And this has been great. I've used this for 2 months now at least. I love the bag. I love the bag. It's soft, but it's sturdy. And this handle, I'm starting to realize what kind of handles I like. It's not something I ever thought about until I started using different project bags. So it's wide and it's there is such a thing as too long of a handle. I found that out. This is perfect. This is how I like to hold mine. Now this is a preference thing, but I need to like kind of wrap it around my wrist a little bit and be able to clutch it. And I can do that with this. But the one I've really, really, really been using like a lot and on purpose to let you guys know what I think about is this one. Now, this is her medium-sized bag. And right now I have a sock head hat project in it. And it's a vintagey map on here. I love it. And there's some airplanes going across it. And oh my gosh, it's canvas. And inside is natural canvas material. Or not is it canvas? Yeah, that feels canvasy too. So this is got a bit more sturdy structure to it because of the canvas. I love this bag, okay? This is my favorite project bag right now. And there's multiple reasons why. The main thing I think I really, really like this is I like canvas in my bags. I'm realizing whenever I hear a project bag maker talks about a bag and they say they put a canvas bottom on it, I am instantly listening and paying attention. My project bags take some abuse, especially if I'm carrying it everywhere with me. So this has fit that to a T. The whole thing's canvas. I love it. I love the look of this. I love this vintage look. I love maps. I love, you know, old globes and that kind of thing. So she has this, and it's on the other bag too. I'm guessing these are standard, but it's a ring to clip anything on your keys or whatever. And it says dream, hope, trust, love. Complete. It's all the way around the on this side. On the ring here. So I like that added detail. I think that's really nice. But I really just love that this fabric is beautiful to me and that it's sturdy and it just works. It's the perfect size, perfect handle. And then here's the thing that I can tell you guys about. And I did not plan this, but we're going to be going to artificial lighting here soon. Stand by. But I carry this in my minivan with me, and sometimes it gets into a larger bag, sometimes it's just on the floor until I get to where I need to go. And when I got out, I noticed that a rather large chocolate smear was on it. Schmear. And I thought, oh man, you know, really? To be honest, I don't know if the boys did it, or I did it, or Ruby did it, who knows, but chocolate got on the bag. Well, I was taking it to work. I took it in the bathroom and I got some wet paper towels and I really scrubbed it. Now I know the canvas can stand up to the scrubbing. What I wasn't sure about is if this black print here would stand up to it. I didn't know if that would rub it off, and it was on the black print too. It got ground in pretty good, the chocolate did, and I had to scrub and it did not, I think it was right here, did not rub anything off. The print stayed real firm. So there you go. Clearly this is a unisex bag. I wanted to let you know what I thought. Okay. So next month for the Comfort Knit Along, you can, she is offering this size of a bag to a winner. You get to go to her shop and pick out anything you want. Or not, whoa, she's probably like, ah! It's not, no, scratch that. Wouldn't that be awesome? You get to pick any medium-sized bag you want. Oh, shoot, sorry about that, guys. Sorry. So any medium-sized bag, you get to go to the shop, pick out your fabric, let her know, and you get that bag. While you're there, oh, and she is offering a coupon code from now until April 1st. Comfort 15 gets you 15% off anything in her shop. So if you win and you want a Notions bag to match it, because I think she has a matching Notions bag for all of them, put in the Comfort 15 and buy, you know, the Notions bag if you want. Or if you're like me, it was really hard for me to only get one project bag. And she has some Valentine's Day bags out too. I hope that the winner doesn't get this too late. I might do the draw for that really early, so stand by. So there's that. Okay, I am going to take a quick break and turn on some artificial lighting. Okay, how's that? Does it look a little better? I noticed the light. I love natural lighting, but I think we may stick with this just because it's a little uncertain at times. But anyways, what I was trying to get to the knitting, I do want to talk about one more thing. Stay with me. We're almost there, I promise. Indie Dyer of the Month. Amy of Bohemia Fibers is our Indie Dyer of the Month. And Amy is, she does custom skeins. So you give her a picture, a painting, photograph, anything, and she can create a skein of yarn based upon that photograph and painting. She's done one for me. She's completed all the yarn for our first mini skein swap. So this first one is 5-gram mini skeins, 20 participants. So everybody submitted a photo or a painting that they wanted her to create a skein of yarn on. She creates the yarn and then she breaks that skein up into 20 5-gram mini skeins. And we all get one of the mini skeins that comes from each skein of yarn. Well, she's done with the first one and they're posted, all of them, in the vote for your favorite no chatter thread in my Ravelry group. I have a voting thread. Go in there, look, vote for your favorite one. You just hit love. Whoever gets the most votes gets a free skein of their yarn. Now, she's so awesome, she's so great, she's so talented that people people are buying the yarn. They're like, I can't help it. Go ahead, give me the yarn. But you can't. She's like, why don't you wait? Maybe you'll win. Oh, she's so sweet. But go in there, vote, because I'm closing the thread out Sunday at noon. So I'm going to do this for each. We have 2 more swaps coming up. They're already full for 10 gram mini skeins. So I'll let you know when it's coming up. Just kind of pop into the Ravelry group and, hit love for whatever you like. And I'm going to go and talk about, I'm going to cover a little bit more of her interview. I've broken it up into pieces. And also, along the same lines of what I was talking about with everybody who really love their skeins of yarn, I cannot even begin to tell you how many people keep thanking me for doing this. And I'm kind of like, well, I just kind of, looked at her page. She already had the idea. She's the artist. She's the one who comes up with this. I can come up with this idea all day long, but without Amy, there is no mini skein swap. So, but so many people, it's been over the top how much people love her yarn and her colorways. And it's been amazing. The response has been. So if you haven't checked out her website, you definitely should. Bohemia Fibers. Her yarn is very, very affordable. Okay. Very affordable. The Naughty Knitwits, we're talking about it on their last podcast, which, by the way, the Naughty Knitwits, it's truly, truly, out of all the podcasts I watch, it's the only podcast that I will watch immediately when it posts, like immediately. In fact, I don't know how I missed it this last time. I found out that they had posted 2 days, I don't know, from whatever that day was, 2 days before, and I had missed it, and I was so upset with myself. They're so funny. I love them. I love them. So they're talking about doing their custom colorway for their podcast. I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but I could talk to you guys about my La Dolce Vita colorway that I had Amy create before we did Indie Dyer of the Month. And anybody I do a swap with will get a mini of that colorway. And I'm going to carry that through the entire year. I'll be ordering yarn from her all year long. So you'll see that. But, they were talking about doing a podcast colorway. And I thought, why couldn't anyone do that? Like, maybe that could be your colorway for the year, have her create one and, use it in your mini skein swaps. Just an idea. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about, I asked her, and I even said, I don't know if this is a taboo question. I kind of get the feeling that it is at times, but she was so gracious and told me that it's not, at least not with her. I asked her, where did she get her yarn as a indie dyer? And she said she purchased her yarn from Wool to Dye For. She says they're on Ravelry and they have a website presence. She says their yarn is premium yarn and they are a licensed seller of British wools in the US. She said Ashland Bay is another place a lot of indies buy from, but she has such an excellent business relationship with Wool to Dye For and she highly recommends them to other people. So, but let's move right into whips and FOs. And let me just say, starting out, I don't have any FOs, which is sad. It's so sad because 2 weeks, and this is why I have the word focus, which clearly I'm still not doing at the end of January. But no FOs. But I do have 2 whips that I'm working on, and I'm really loving it. So the first one is this sockhead hat that I've been meaning to do forever. Not forever, last few months. It's for my son, Kylan. He's 13, and he loves color. That boy loves color. I say he's part Jamaican most of the time. Because, he loves it. It reminds me, he just loves them loud, pretty, boisterous colors, I call it. And I am using Hedgehog Fibers typewriter. I know what color his coat is. He would not care if it matched his coat, but I decided to put, because this is kind of plain for him, it's a beautiful, beautiful colorway. It's a really soft gray with these bits of black throughout, and I really like it. But for Kyla, this would have been too boring. So I used a couple mini skeins to create some stripes. And they're like a neon yellow green and this really nice looking pretty blue. It's like looks kind of like one of them Mediterranean sea blues. So what I did here, I'd have to measure the rows here. He doesn't want a folded brim. I'm going to make it a little bit slouchy, but we'll see how that goes. There's about maybe 2 inches from the ribbing to the first stripe, and about 2 inches of ribbing as well. And then I started doing, I had sort of an idea how I wanted to do the stripes, but not a clear plan. I just kind of started knitting. And I started out with the yellow and I did 2 rounds. And then there's 4 rounds of the typewriter, 3 rounds of the blue. I did 4 consistently for the typewriter. Between each colored stripe is 4 rounds of the typewriter. And but then I increased with the size of the stripe. So it went 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 5 rounds. The next one will be 6. And it's getting kind of close on my blue. This is gonna be, I told you guys I don't play yarn chicken. I think I'm gonna be playing it right now. I don't know, I don't like that, don't like it. But I think it's a Zia Wools. I'm almost certain this blue is Zia Wools. So Dag, I may be calling you, I may be texting you. I have an SOS. But I have plenty of this yellow yarn that I got from my friend in a Christmas swap. She is Key Time on Ravelry. And I got plenty of that, I think, for this. So I'm almost done with the stripes. I'll be finishing that this week easily. I'm really liking this. Part of my focus, so let me talk about that. There's so many things I want to knit all the time. And I had a serious case of castanitis. I heard people talk about that, but I'm like, oh, come on, really? You know, like we all cast some things on. No. I totally get it. It's like you just can't quit casting on. I did that. There's stuff that isn't even worth showing you guys right now. But I've been wanting to do a sock het for a while, and I thought, okay, you're supposed to be focusing. You definitely want to knit for your family. So I'm doing hats. There's a hat that I've been wanting to knit for me, and there's a Star Wars hat that I want to knit for my son Ashton. And there's also a hat I want to knit for Ruby. So we're doing hats across the board. I will always have a hat on the needles until everybody's done. So you've heard it here. Sock hat. Next one that I am actually very excited about as well, because I am at the part that I have never done. So this is just plain vanilla sock using the mustache yarn. And this is everything is awesome colorway. And I finished the body of the foot, the cuff, and it's down to the toe, and I got to put the afterthought heel in. And why I'm excited is because I've never done an afterthought heel. So that will be going in. And my goodness, okay, did that line up? Ooh, yes it did. I think it did. I thought maybe I put the heel on the side. Oh, that would have been so bad. These are for my sister. So she has a size 10 foot. Right here, heel. I really am pleased. My toes and my socks are coming out very nicely. This one and the one before this, I like it. It just looks really nice. Yeah, I'm guessing it's just practice. My Kitchener look at that. Let me see if I can get that close up to you here. Hold on. Let me put my fist in it. My hand, I should say. I mean, that's a good Kitchener if I do say so myself. The sides turned out nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I want to finish these. I don't know why socks take me so long. Because they're really not, if I were to sit down and actually just knock them out, they don't take me that long. But I get distracted by other projects a lot. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm going to try to be better. I'm trying, but that's that. Oh, and you know what I want to ask you guys? So here's my thing. I do my socks, and I've mentioned this before. I use 2.25 millimeters at the top for my ribbing. And then I switch to 2.75 millimeters for the rest of it. Someone asked me why I did that. I kind of do that with all my ribbing. But I do notice that there's people who use just one size needle for their entire sock. And I did that with my Hermione's everyday socks. And they fit great. However, when I was knitting them, the ribbing kind of bowed out like that a little bit. And I didn't like it, but when I blocked it and when I wear them, they're fine. There's no issue. But I like the look of it when I use a smaller needle, and they do tend to be just a little bit more snug. They just make me feel like they're going to stay up a little bit better. So, does anybody else do that? I didn't think that was a weird thing to do. Socks particularly. I'm pretty sure hats and stuff like that people do pretty normally. They switch out their needles for that. But what about you? What do you do? I'm curious. Let me know. That's it. Oh, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. That is light knitting for 2 weeks. Oh well, what can you do? So let me just go into the rest of the things I wanted to talk to you about. There's just a few more things. One thing in particular I want to talk to you guys about. Making sure, going over my notes here, and I'm making sure there's nothing else that I forgot. No, I don't think so. So, there is a knit along coming up, another one. We'll be starting March 1st. I am doing this with Brittany of the Sip and Stitch podcast. And it's going to be epic. Okay? I'm giving you little teasers here and there. We have been collaborating and we have been brainstorming, and when I say it's going to be epic, I mean epic, okay? This is going to be a knit along like no other. I promise, okay? You want to find out what that's all about. We will be posting details 2 weeks before because we're really just hashing out how we want to do this and go about it. But right now we're planning 3 months for this, and the prizes are going to be awesome. Awesome. And I'm just really excited. Brittany is a new podcaster, and I love her enthusiasm and her motivation, and I love that, she does roller derby and she knits. She's young and, she's cool. And I just want to be cool too. So I'm not cool. Okay, I'm not cool. I'm 40 and I have 3 kids and I drive a minivan. And I'm okay with that. But, I'm going to be doing this with a cool person, in my opinion. I don't know any other person who roller derbies, and I think it's awesome. So, and all knitters are awesome in my book. But we are going to do a really awesome knit along, and there's another podcaster doing it with us. I'm going to wait a little bit on that one too. And also, I want to include, we're talking about, we just really want to do this in a really big way. And if there's any podcasters out there who, I'm not going to ask you to actively co-host with us. That's not what I'm going for here. But I've got some ideas on some things that would work out well for your viewers as well, like maybe some contests of some sort. Drop me a line if you're interested and we'll talk. And I'm really looking at the naughty nitwits right now. Ladies, if you don't contact me, I'm contacting you because you're first on my radar. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So, sorry, I dropped something. But just stay tuned. It's just going to be so much fun. It's going to be so much fun. And there's going to be lots of surprises. You will know what the knit along is about 2 weeks before it happens. That way if there's any questions, we can address them. But there is going to be things you will not see coming. You will not see coming. And it will be very, very good for you. So just stay tuned, okay? You've heard it here. Check out Brittany's podcast if you haven't already. She's a lot of fun, and she knits a lot of cool things. And she knits more than I do. Well, I shouldn't say, I make it sound like I don't knit at all. I knit a lot, I do. But I think she might be a bit more productive, especially this week, than I am. So, okay, so this next part is how to make an awesome swap package. And I'm specifically targeting the mini skein swaps. And after thinking about this, I'm going to do a more thorough little special episode on how to make a great mini skein box. So there'll be a separate one after this, but I do want to do one right now because that was the plan. And also because I told you I would last episode. So here is my thoughts on mini skein swapping and how to do it well. Because if you've never done it, you may want to listen to this, okay? So, mini skein swaps. What I'm going to call normal, there is a little bit of variation in there, but I did bounce this off of Andy from Andre Sue Knits as well, because she does a lot of swaps too. So 6 to 8 mini skeins is what I would call about a normal swap. And a standard weight for the mini skein is 5 grams. Now I say that, but what I find best is to ask. I will always ask a person because some people do have a little bit larger squares and they require 6 to 7 grams. However, like Jenny from the Tiny Paper Foxes, both she and I use about 4 grams. I say 5 just to be safe, but if someone sent me a 4-gram skein, which I've used all of it with no issues whatsoever. So those are good things to ask. How many grams does your blanket need? But I would say 5 grams is pretty safe. So you're doing 6 to 8 mini skeins, 5 grams each. Okay, so with each little thing, I have basically 3 things you need for a box or envelope package. I'm gonna add like a bonus, okay? So what I tell you initially is what you should do. You wanna go a little step further? Here's that part right here for this part. Say you're swapping with somebody who has never who hasn't done a lot of swaps, or they're a newer knitter and they don't have a lot of sock yarn yet. What I like to do is I have skeins of yarn. I am in the Space Cadets monthly mini skein. I get, I don't know, 6 to 8 mini skeins each month, and they're 20 grams. And then I buy mini skeins from indie dyers, particularly Zia Wools. I always have probably 2 boxes of her minis on hand. I just bought some from Andre Sue Knits. Anybody who sells minis, I keep some of those on hand because, one, I cannot tell you how many times they've saved my bacon. If there was a mini skein swap where I kind of not forgot, but I really didn't get on the ball and I need to make this up sooner rather than later, I will throw those in. But I think they're especially important when you have a newer person, because if I give someone a 10-gram mini skein, they can use 5 grams to knit a square. Then they can use the other 5 grams to make another mini and send it to somebody else. Or they have enough to make 2 squares in their blankets if they really like the yarn. So that's just a bonus. It's not necessary, but that's something I do. And I don't know if I do that all the time or not. I definitely do that with newer knitters and people who don't really have a good sock yarn stash. So that's a bonus. The second thing I would say that you need to do for mini skein swaps is to label each mini. So I want to talk about what should be on that label and a couple ways to do this. So you should always have on the label the brand of the yarn, the fiber content, the colorway, and you don't have to put this, but you could put how many grams. If it's 4 grams, if it's 5 grams, if it's 6 grams, or maybe the yard. Some people do it by that. Most people that I have, I think everybody I've swapped with has done it by grams. But that doesn't mean you have to. I believe 5 grams is equal to about 20 to 24 yards. I will find that out. You might even see that at the bottom of the screen right now. But I'll get into that more on the special tutorial. I don't know if I want to call it tutorial, but the special episode for that. But, so on the tag, you want to have all those things that I mentioned. So for instance, I have Collinette Jitterbug right here, colorway forest, 400 yard, oh no. Let's say 100% merino. That's on this tag right here that I got from a mini skein swap. So added bonus for this. Two things on here that I think are an added bonus. I think adding the grams, how many grams there are, because so people do a lot of mini skein swaps, some people do, so some of that information can get lost in the shuffle. So it's just helpful to have it on the tag. And two, I like putting who it's from on the tag, because how many times have you seen people, they put a square in, well, in my case, and they can't remember who it's from. And now, it's just an added bonus. You don't have to do that, okay? It's just a little bit more information, helps the person reference it more quickly. Also, another thing I came up with just fairly recently that I have not done yet. So most of us write our tags out. I'm trying to think if I know anybody who doesn't. But particularly like the ones you buy, skein of yarn, they'll put these little paper tags around them, right? Not everybody, but some people do. And so this is typed, right? I think this is something, food for thought. You could put this on your mini skein and then you just tape it. You wrap it around and you tape it. And why would I say to type this out? Well, I've been on the receiving end of this. Sometimes you can't read the person's writing, so you really don't even know what it says. So typing helps. Is it necessary? No. Just a thing to think about if you wanted to do it. Actually, I think the next box that I do, because so this is a pretty large tag, not a large tag, this is a pretty normal size tag to write what you need to write. This is the mini skein, this is the tag. But I have little bitty cute tags I got from Michael's. I have to put almost 3 tags on one mini skein to say what they are. It's kind of silly, but I already bought the tags, I'm gonna do it. So I would probably still do that, and one of my thoughts is, the other bonus on it. So another thing that I think is really, really cool that people have done for me in swaps is to include what makes that mini special to them. Maybe and it's their favorite colorway. Maybe it's the first pair of socks they ever knit. Maybe it's, socks I knit for my daughter. It could be so many different things. You don't have to do that for all of them. I think it's really fun to read. I've really enjoyed that. So in this particular one here, it says pretty much my favorite colorway ever. Oh, that was really cute. So what I would probably do with my next swap package, because I've put a lot of thought into this now, is I would put some sort of tag on there describing what it is and who it's from. And then I think I might actually even type out a note with each mini skein and why I like it, just to kind of keep the size of the tag down to a minimum, because they can get out of hand. They can get pretty big. And like I said, this is just an opinion. Do what you will. Is it necessary? No. But I would definitely have your fiber content, your colorway, and what the fiber is. Also, these don't have to be mini skeins that you bought. I've received mini skeins that people have dyed and they're not selling their yarn. They just, they dyed their own yarn and they were experimenting, and I think those are really cool to get. So, include some of your homemade stuff if you have some. Okay, and the third thing to round out your box is a treat with a card, okay? So you want to include a handwritten card. Handwrite it and make it personal. If your writing is atrocious, go ahead, type a letter and then sign it. But yeah, just a nice little note to say, hi, thank you for swapping. Maybe somehow a specific way they inspired you or something that you admire about them. Something short, sweet, and thoughtful. Then a treat. Tea is big for knitters. Big, big. So this is a cute way to send your tea. I don't do this. Some people are really, really good at packaging. I could be. I just don't. I use a lot of Ziploc bags because I try to protect everything. I'm big on Ziploc bags. And I think people even do some of these and put them in some sort of plastic wrap. But I would say 2 to 3 individual packs of tea if your person's a tea drinker. Find out. Or maybe some chocolate. I almost always put chocolate in my packages unless I know that they're allergic or they don't like chocolate, And I'll show you one of the things that I do. I always have chocolate on hand, which is becoming a huge problem for me because before swapping, I never kept chocolate in my house because it is one of the few foods that I really cannot control myself. Case in point, Ghirardelli squares. They have awesome sales, especially around Christmas, for chocolate, and Walgreens usually has stuff 2 for $5, that kind of thing. But depending on what size my swap is, I'll throw like 2 or 3 of these in, and I try to mix and match them sometimes. But as you notice, there's only 2. I'm not even sure any of these have went into a swap package. I will include a big old bar of chocolate, Ghirardelli chocolate. You know what? Actually, now that I think about that, I'm more inclined to go for them little mini ones than I am this, because I know this is a commitment right here to eat, and I don't usually break into this. Everyone may be getting big chocolate bars from me forever now. But I did discover something awesome, beautiful, wonderful. Oh my gosh, they're so, so great. This came from the Yarn at Home mom, Shannon. Have you guys heard of Pockies? Chocolate cream covered biscuit sticks. Oh my gosh. I opened these up. My children were all over me. I had to hide them until they went to bed so I could eat the rest of them in peace. I bought a whole case of them on Amazon because I think they're awesome, and I do want to include these in packages. Now guess what? Ask me how many have went in a swap package yet. None. I have already eaten some. So I may not be buying these in the future because I have no self-control. However, these are a great little treat to put in there. So, and a treat doesn't have to be food or tea. Some other great things that I have received are handmade soap, but it's like a little bitty one. You don't have to do a little bitty one. You can do a big one. Oh, there it is. So this was a great idea someone put in one of mine, because I love handmade soaps. I love them. It smells so good. So that's an idea. And okay, stitch markers, also another great one. We like stitch markers, right? So a treat can be a little bit subjective, doesn't have to be food. Bonus on this section. Okay, so I think it's really, really cool if you can buy something local to you and include that in the package. I have a local coffee roaster where I live. It's in my town, and it is very, very popular all over the place. They sell it in our grocery store here. They sell it at all the nice restaurants. It's really, really good. So if my person's a coffee drinker, and depending on the size of the swap I'm doing, I will include some of that. One thing that I do want to start doing, and I'm trying to look into, is I live by St. Louis, Missouri. We're known for the arch, the Cardinals. I love the cardinal bird. That's a big thing. I'm not really into baseball, but we do have the Cardinals. I've thought about getting some stitch markers that have those things and including them in. So there's that. Handmade things. So some other great swaps that I've had is Amber from the Yarn Junkie. Her daughter wove a little rug mug and she put it in the package for me, which I love. I have that on my nightstand by my bed. I thought that was really great. Same person, Amber, made me prickly pear jam. Amazing. So anything handmade, a little knitted heart, a knitted bird of happiness. Once again, you don't have to do this, okay? Don't feel like you do. This doesn't happen all the time. But if you want to do a little bonus thing, something handmade, something local, just a thought. Okay, so let's go back to the plastic and the chocolate at the same time. So chocolate, if you send chocolate, please, please, please think about where you're sending it. So I've had swappers that it's going south. They're like, don't send us chocolate right now. Or their post office lets things just sit on this porch. They're like, no, 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 don't do it. It will be melty and nasty. So just think about that, where you're sending it to. However, put everything in plastic bags. I always put my yarn in particular in plastic bags. I use Ziplocs, but if you're doing swaps a lot, you may want to get what the indie dyers use. They use those, you've all seen them. They're a simple plastic package. Now, you can buy them in bulk in Amazon and anywhere. That's a thought. But I put everything in plastic bags, particularly the yarn. Careful with your chocolate. Here is some of the things I use to ship my mini skeins, or my mini skein packages, I should say. This is a 8 by 11 inch envelope. This will work for most, if not, well, for most swaps, I think. Mine's bubble wrap. It's got bubble wrap on the inside. It's kind of padded. I just do that. This is a 10 by 15 inch envelope. And this is if I'm sending a whole skein of yarn, I'll usually use this if it's like a large skein. But this is a really common box I see, this size right here. This is I know it's on here. Yep, there it is. 7 by 7 by 6 box. I see this exact box quite a bit. I keep my Amazon boxes I often get some smaller boxes from them. I'll keep those from time to time. I reuse all my boxes. If someone sends something to me, I keep it, take off the address labels, and use it again. This is a common size. So, all right. If you're ever in doubt and you're thinking, gosh, I don't know if this is good enough. And let me tell you, we'll get to that in a minute. Throw in a couple of the mini skeins I mentioned. Have like a little box that you bought and throw in a couple of those, just if you want to round out a package or something, just do that. If you're new to swapping, you will find yourself in this position. And it's what I call the unbalanced swap. And I think almost every new swapper has had this experience, and it's mortifying. And that's where you sent a package that you thought was good, and you get basically like it's Christmas time box. It's just very, very generous because knitters are generous. We are by nature, and you feel very, very embarrassed by your small box or your small package maybe. I will say that I don't think people do that with the intent of receiving a huge package back. I think the people that I know that have done these packages, they really like doing this, and they're doing this because they want to. But if you find yourself in this position, and I have, okay, an unbalanced swap, some things you can do to help rectify it and ease your guilt, because I had a lot of it. First, write them a really good thank you card, okay? Write it. Send it. Also, maybe say something on a social forum. Say something, on Instagram. Show something like, wow, this is so great. I can't believe you sent this to me. Thank you so much. Make them something handmade. You don't have to do all these things. These are thoughts just to kind of help rectify the situation, which probably you have more guilt and they're probably not even thinking twice about, but you'll know if you're in this situation, okay? Make them something handmade. Send them, like a bird of happiness, or just like I mentioned, those other things. Make them some cookies. Those are some things you could do. Because now, or a project bag. I know there's lots of people who make project bags that they don't sell. Send them one of those, Thank you so much. Your package was so generous. Here, I wanted to give you this. I'm so overwhelmed by your generosity. Those kind of things. Or, because I do understand if times get busy, you can get really busy at times, and you're like, Melissa, I don't have time to make cookies, and I don't have time to do this, but I do. We all have time to write a card, so do that, or a letter. You don't have to go out and buy a card. You can write it on paper and pen, old-fashioned way, but maybe gift them a pattern on Ravelry. It's very, very easy to do. If anybody ever wants to know how to do that, let me know. I had to figure it out the first time I did it. And when you gift a pattern on Ravelry, you have the option of writing a note in there as well that they will get with it. So just some thoughts to help if you find yourself in an unbalanced swap. I got that from Andy. I really like that. So there's a few things that I want to cover too, but for the sake of time, I think I'm just going to keep this to the special episode. There are some ways. I'm going to show how to make a mini skein and ways you can do that the easy way, not the easy way, without having to buy anything, I should say. And then also how to buy some things and make it yourself, which sounds a lot more difficult than what it is, and it's very, very cheap and easy. And then there's always something like this, the Ashford Mini Knotty, or the Nitty Knotty, I should say. And Andy on Andre Sue Knits just showed this on her, I don't think it was her last, I think it was maybe 2 episodes ago. And she was talking about mini skeins as well. So there's that. I will cover it more in detail in a special episode, which I will have out in the next 2 weeks at a minimum. But if you have any questions between now and then, please feel free to ask me. I am going to show you how to make a little mini nitty knotty using PVC pipe, which I don't care if you are not handy or you don't think you can make anything. I promise you, you can make this, okay? Dag from Zia Wools, who makes her minis, are just always beautifully skeined. I mean, they're just so perfect. I asked her how she makes hers. And she sent me this. She has one of the things I just showed you, but she said a while back she made one with PVC pipe, and she showed me how to do it and sent me actually some PVC pipe to make it. I'm going to share that with you, okay? And she said she still prefers using that. So I thought that was kind of fun. And just with a quick looking at Lowe's to find out, how much the materials cost, it was less than $10 easily, and you could probably get away with even cheaper depending on what you have at home. So stand by for that. That will be out in a non-regular episode, just a special episode feature on how to make an awesome swap package and how to do mini skeins and how to make your own nitty knotty. Okay, so having said that, I am now going to go through my mail. And I realized, wow, we are so late. I'm just gonna go with it because I don't know when else I would include the mail in the stash. Okay, let's go with mail and stash enhancement. So I want to show these beautiful fingerless mitts I've received for the Knit My Mitts Knit Along. These are from, I hope I say her name right, Dariona? If I mispronounced your name, I'm very sorry. But I'm not gonna lie, these are so gorgeous. I did this. I tried them on. I would love these. These are great. These are beautiful. They're all beautiful, but I love these colors and they're just so pretty. But they will go to the homeless ministry at my church. And they will be going to someone who really needs them. And she also sent, wait, let me see. Oh no, I think my packages got a little crisscrossed here. All right, we're gonna go with, I have more with her, but I'm just gonna show the yarny stuff actually. Yeah, we're not gonna go through every single thing here, but those, thank you so much for sending those. That was so nice of you. I've been so touched by the people who have sent me mitts for charity. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I did a swap with Mirjam. She's in Israel. I've talked with her through the boards and on Ravelry and Instagram. She's a lot of fun. And she dyes a lot of yarn. Really nice stuff. She doesn't sell anything, but we did a tea swap and she sent me some minis and some yarn that she dyed. See, she put hers in a Ziploc bag too. But this is what she dyed, which I think is just really gorgeous. It's like this, there's some grays and blues and purples. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. Some beautiful minis that I do not have all here. There was more minis, but yeah, she sent a lot of stuff too. She sent me from the land of milk and honey. She sent me a little jar of honey from her area and some mud for like a spa experience. I thought that was really neat. That was really fun. We had a great time with that package. My kids get so excited when a package comes to the door because there's usually a treat or something in there and they want to try it. And she did send treats. But the Yarn at Home mom. All right. Oh my goodness. Sorry guys, I'm running out of room here. I need to have more table space around me. Oh my goodness. She dyes her own yarn and she sells it on Etsy. And I found her through another mini skein swap. Loved her colors. She included a lot of her minis, but then a bunch of others from other dyers. And it's just, holy smokes. I couldn't cover all this if I tried. I mean, it's just, and once again, Ruby strikes. She's taken off about 8 of these tags, so I don't even know what some of them are. Some of them I can identify. There's definitely Wool and Vine yarn in here. And that looks familiar too. The Lemonade Shop. But look at just these alone. All right. Wow. And there's more. And she sent me some phenomenal coffee from her area because she's a big coffee drinker too. And it was called, I think, the Allen Brothers. The Phoenix and the Turtle was the type of flavor of coffee, I guess, if you will. Holy smokes, that is some of the best coffee I've ever had. I cannot quit drinking it. It's so yummy. But look at this. I'm not going to go through all these colors. Just feast your eyes on all this colorful goodness. One of the things I've decided to do with my Cozy Memories blanket is that I am knitting, so when I do hers, I'm knitting all her minis at the same time. I don't want to go through and say this one's from Amber and this one's from Dag and this one's from that. No. I'll be like, this whole block here, this is Amber's. This whole section here, this is Shannon's. And I think it's fun to go through that and see what they have, and I like it. I'll be able to identify the memory a little more easily. I did get my mini skeins from Space Cadet today. It literally came in the mail today. I also got, oh, it's behind me, Dag. Oh my goodness, Dag. Dag sent me another pair of mitts again. These are, I love her mittens. Way too big for me, but they'll be great for someone who's a larger person than me. But these are great mitts. Thank you so much, Dag. I will definitely be giving these out to people who need them. And then I asked Dag to send me some mini skeins of Fire and Ice. I talked about this so much. I gave away a skein. She was my first Indie Dyer of the Month. And I'm realizing as an Indie Dyer of the Month, these are people that I like, like I said, they never come to me, I find them. I should be sending them out in all my mini skein swaps so I can show them to you guys. So I got a bunch of minis of Fire and Ice I asked her to do. And look at this. This is exactly what I mean. Her mini skeins are perfect. This is the perfect mini skein. I mean, it's just, wow. I don't know how she does this magic. Mine did not look like that. And she included a lot of minis too. I am in mini heaven, mini skein. Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's like, look at that. It's like a burst of sunshine in springtime right here. I love it. So yeah, thank you, Dag. You, as always, are so generous, so kind. I also did a tea swap with Tanya. I think you say Tanya, maybe Tanya. She's Tea Knit Pearl on Ravelry, and that was arranged through Eric of the Sticks Plus Twine podcast. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. She included some mini skeins too, which unfortunately I do not have here. And just some fun stuff, and I really enjoyed it. And I also want to say thank you to the ladies of the Pin, Hooks, and Needles podcast. Thank you so much for the lovely shout out, ladies. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, this is, I think, on record for the longest podcast that I have done to date. So I promise they will not be this long. I think from now on, I will do something like how to create the best swap package. That might be, we'll figure out better ways to do that. So, thank you for spending time with me. If you've made it to the very end, congratulations. I'm not going to go over there's other chit chat. I don't think it's necessary. I'll try to do this weekly because this is too much to do every 2 weeks. But I will have more knitting for you because that's embarrassing. Okay. So, until next time, I hope you create something beautiful and enjoy your time, and I will see you later. Bye.